All right, today we're going to be looking at Cookie versus Tezuka. Was not able to record commentary live, so we have this recording where hopefully not too many moves are skipped. I did take a brief glance while it was recording at the game, so I have some thoughts, and I think I have a way to frame this game, which is kind of like this is the game of unless. I should do this unless they can set up against me, and each one kind of keeps setting up against the other, which makes it a pretty neat game. So the game started with Tezuka going with 6-5-1-5 and 3, a relatively weak corner he could take back fairly easily. Though notice he only has the one recapture and two with 2-6-6-2. So this is a weak corner I can easily recapture unless they can take in a way that I don't actually have two. And what does Cookie do? Cookie goes 6-6-3-2 and 6, setting up a same if Tezuka goes in 2. So this is one of those, okay, you put this card in 3, but actually I'm the one who can lock it in because you can't go in 2 unless, and so this is very good for me, unless you have some really good way to set up against my card in 6. And what does Tezuka do? Tezuka goes in 8, setting up a combo threat in 5. Now, one thing that Tezuka does smartly here, now I haven't checked this game with the solver or anything, maybe all the moves are mistakes, but I think it's a neat game. One thing Tezuka does here is you'll notice the important square to set up is the combo threat in 5. He does not have a combo threat in 9, but this is not important. 9 is an inherently valuable square. If Cookie has to block 5 and Tezuka gets 9, he's happy. He'll lock in 9, he'll lock in 6, he'll take 8, which is kind of hard for Cookie to take back with that 5 facing out. Cookie will have limited options, and Tezuka will have play against that card. Incidentally, the game is SPC, I believe, not SPPWC, so don't worry about plus wall. So Tezuka knows when I play 8 here, I'm trying to set up 5. And if Cookie gives Tezuka 9, Tezuka's happy. And if Cookie does not give Tezuka 9, then Tezuka will have the combo in 5, which will flip 3. That doesn't lock in 3, but it does flip 3, and 3 is useful, because 3 is a little tricky to take back. Now, Cookie does take 9, and Tezuka, I believe, goes 5 here. Oh no, is this going to skip and give the next move as well, because I took too long to reload? Yeah, it is. So Tezuka takes 5, and let's go back and look a second earlier. Tezuka takes 5, that's going to flip everything but 9. Tezuka is going to be up 6-4. Let's go back a little further so you can see the card in Tezuka's hand. He picked it up early. Okay. 6-3-3-6 in 5. Now, this will go up 6-4 because it'll take 3 cards, and he's currently down 7-3. If Cookie goes in 2 with 1-7-5-4, again, no plus wall, that will make it 5-5, but both Tezuka's cards in 5 and 8 will be safe. Tezuka has done this really clever job. Even though Cookie has more cards locked in on the right, because he'll have 3 and 9, he'll have more cards in the right column, Tezuka's high numbers facing out means he actually is the player with more safety here. And it will be 5-5, but he can play 2-6-6-2 in 1, going up 6-4, and actually, Cookie's only capture is with 7-2-2-5, and 7-5-5-1 is going to sweep the endgame. So there's kind of the thing of you want to go in 5 here, but they're actually going to lock in more cards in the right, but Tezuka has calculated that out. Tezuka has seen that even though you lock in more cards in the right column, my cards in the central column are safe, and I have really good sweepers at the end here with 2-6-6-2 and 7-5-5-1. I'm going to win this game. So, Cookie needs to find an unless. 5 works unless he has some setup against it, and Cookie finds this move in 1, which sets up a huge threat in 6. I'll go maybe slightly back. No, Tezuka has already picked up a card, so just keep in mind that Tezuka has 2-6-6-2 in his hand. But this is a huge threat in 6. 2 is an inherently valuable square. Nothing can fight it. It locks a bunch of things in. If Tezuka is to take 2, in 4 is the combo. Cookie gets the combo in 4. So again, each time we've played on a diagonal, when Tezuka played an 8 in response to 6, it only set up 1 square, but it only needed to set up the sort of bad square. Made these pair of squares. 9 is inherently the good one, 5 is the bad one, because 9 is secure, locked in, right? 5 is the unsafe one. There's potential play against it. If you have a combo in only one of those squares, you need it to be in the bad square. If it's in the good square, your opponent just blocks the good square and you're done. Your point is you're surrendering a good square, but you have compensation in the bad square through your combo potential. And Cookie has done the exact same thing here. 2 is the good square, 4 is the bad square. When he sets up this combo, the important thing to do is to set up the bad square. And he sets up this really huge threat of Cactuar in the bad square, which forces Tezuka to block it. Tezuka plays in 4, and Cookie can now take 2, locking in the whole top row, which secures him the 5-5 tie. And we have a tie. I suspect this game was perfectly and correctly played, and I think it was a really fun one where the ways the players used the diagonals made a lot of sense. It's kind of the platonic ideal of a game of showing that when you play on the diagonal and there's a good square and a bad square, it only really matters that you set up the bad square. Like, obviously, if you can set up the good square too, that makes it better. But usually the good square is going to be blocked, and the good square has inherent value anyway. It's the good square, and what you really want to be doing is setting up that bad square. Now, there's examples like if someone starts in 1 and you go in 5, you're playing on the diagonal, and there is no inherently better square between 2 and 4. So there's no, okay, I only had to set up 2 because 4 is the better square. Now, occasionally that will be the case, because it will be the case that they have a good way to block 4 with a high number facing out that's safe to you, but they don't have a good way to block 2. And this is actually what I call the Akiyama center play, where he only sets up one way, but it is against the side the opponent has discomfort blocking. So this actually does apply there. It's just a more complicated and difficult to figure out example. But here, the examples were really clear. After 3, 6, 8, 8 has to set up 5. It doesn't have to set up 9. After the game continued 9 and then 5, Cookie found this move in 1, and it has to set up 4. It doesn't have to set up 2. Just really perfect example of what this kind of play looks for. And both players showing, right? Each did one example. They have a really good feel for when you're playing diagonal to the action and setting up these combo threats, where does it actually matter that you have the combo? And we also saw both types of responses. When Tezuka set up on the diagonal, Cookie took the good square and let Tezuka have the combo. And this makes more sense to do early because you have more time to recover from a severe combo the earlier in the game it is, and Cookie does lock in a card by taking the safe square. So I think this was a good reaction. Later in the game, when Cookie sets up the combo, Tezuka immediately blocks it because a combo landing on the second to last turn, you do not have enough time usually to recover from unless you happen to have a combo in response. So we sort of saw the two types of responses. In one case, said, okay, I don't think the combo's that dangerous, I will just take the good square. And in the other situation, it was the combo is that dangerous, I must block the combo square, that is my top priority. And as we saw from the video, Tezuka picked up that card to block it very quickly. He immediately knew, I can't let this happen. So, really neat game. I quite like this one, and a quick video, which hopefully is nice.